Are you ready for solving? Get your coffee if it's super early for that. Okay, I'm going to solve polynomials today using kind of graphs sometimes. I'm really just going to show you what these graphs start to look like because next time we're going to start to actually graph these and worry about what they look like. So we're getting there. Okay, so first of all, to solve polynomials, we need to remember the fundamental theorem of algebra and the zero product property. Is that the messiest I've ever written in these notes? Maybe. The fundamental theorem of algebra is that there are as many solutions as the degree is. So if it's a third degree polynomial, it has 3 answers or 3 roots or 3 solutions. Those are all the same thing. And zero product property tells us that anything times 0 is 0. Let's put these to use. So first of all, here's my first example. And I can't forget that there's this thing that helps me factor these things, because I can't solve it from this form, but I can solve it if I factor it. So let's factor this polynomial. Ready? I'm ready, sure. So first step, just like normal, I'm going to check for a greatest common factor. 5 and 40 and 80 all can be divided by 5. And x cubed and x squared and x can all have an x taken out of it. So I'm taking out the greatest common factor. If you have not watched the last video yet, go back and watch this, girls. This won't make any sense. Okay, and so then I get x squared minus 8x plus 16. Should have done this ahead of time. Okay, now we still know how to factor this as 3 terms. It's probably an x puzzle. Let's do a quadratic. That was backwards. It's probably a quadratic. Let's do an x puzzle. Okay, so then 16 on top, negative 8 on bottom. That's negative 4 and 4. Sorry, negative 4 and negative 4. So this is 5x times x minus 4 twice. We don't need to write twice. We can just write a squared on it. That's fine. That's the same thing as writing it twice. Okay, now we can use the zero product property. So this one, if this thing is 0, the whole equation is 0. So if 5x equaled 0, then that 0 times this would be 0, so we're good. The other option is that x minus 4 could equal 0. Because if x minus 4 was squared, it'd still be 0, and then times 5x is still 0, and blah. So I just solve these problems separately. Divide by 5, x equals 0. Add 4, x equals 4. Twice. Why is it important that it's twice? Well, because of the fundamental theorem of algebra. I should have 3 answers because it's a power of 3. And if I just see these two, I might think that it's only 1 answer. So 1, 2, 3, because it was twice. Remember, it was both over here. Hey, we did it. Let's look at the graph super quick, though. I want to show you something. All right, here it is. I know it's really small. I can't fix it, but I might. Okay, so here's my graph. It's curvy. I used to say I like my graphs like I like my women, but then my students used to think that I really liked women, but I just appreciate them. It's fine. Okay, but this is nice and curvy, right? It goes up and then down and up again. We're going to talk a lot about the shape of this graph soon, but I wanted to have a little prequel of it. So a cubic graph does that. It goes up, whoop, 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 or whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay, but look where it goes through the x-axis. It goes through right here at 0, and it kisses it at 4. 0 and 4 twice. The twice is the kiss. By kiss, I mean it touches it and keeps going. Like it goes, oh, hi, honey. Okay, bye. Gotta go. Peace. And so that's kind of what happens with this graph. So that's what this graph looks like. Let's try another one. I'm gonna skip ahead. You're gonna see some that are basically just factoring. Like it's just a lot of factoring using this thing. But I want to show you a specific one where it gives you a graph. So let's do that one. Okay, so I'm going to solve 2x to the 5th plus 24x equals 14x cubed. We're going to move the 14x cubed over so it equals 0. That's always our first step if it doesn't already equal 0. So I get 2x to the 5th minus 14x cubed plus 24x equals 0. I just put it in order because that would help me later. Okay, now let's look at this graph. Let's take a peek-see on what we're looking at here. Okay, I noticed that somewhere after -1, oh, it actually tells me the answer on here. Don't look at that. but a gross number, it's here. 0, which is going to be useful. Maybe 1.5, maybe a little less than 1.5, and then 6 and a 7/2. I think this one's supposed to have something nice on it. Hold on. 2x to the 5th. Hold on. I have to fix this. There we go. Here's my actual graph I was looking at. Okay, so it looks like -2, maybe +2, but also this gross number, 0 again, and then this gross number. But look how much prettier this graph is than the last one. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to start factoring this, but I'm going to need to use synthetic division in a second, and I'm going to use my graph to do it. So first of all, I can take out a 2 and an x because there's 2, 2, 2 in here, and there's at least one x in all of these. So I can take out a 2 and an x. I'm left with x to the 4th minus 7x to the squared. That was weird. Plus 12 equals 0. I can factor this too. I'm not going to lie to you. This one you could probably factor. 12 is 3 times 4, so they're going to be involved in this. Actually, let's do it that way. No, I'm going to do it both ways. I'm going to do it both ways. Option 1 and option 2. So option 1, I can factor this with an x puzzle. So 12 and -7 is -3 and -4. And I know I can do that because I have a something squared into something, even though this is something squared is x squared. So I have 2x still, and I have x squared minus 3, and I have x squared minus 4. And then I can do the, I can keep going with this one, or I'm just trying to solve it, so I don't need to factor it completely in order to solve it. So what I can do is I can actually do the FTA now. I can do 2x equals 0, and I can do x cubed minus 3 equals 0, and I can have a train in the background right when I'm trying to teach you. Great. Equals 0. H part equals 0. Well, if 2x equals 0, x equals 0, that's this one right here. If x squared minus 3 equals 0, x squared equals +3, and x would be whatever plus and minus the square root of 3 is. Who knows? This calculator knows. It's like what is it? It's right here, 1.732. Thank you, Desmos calculator. And then this one will be x squared equals 4. So that, no. Yeah, so x equals plus and minus 2. Those are my, how many answers am I looking for? 5? That only looks like 3 by golly, but it is 5. 1, 2, and the negative version, 3, 4, and the negative version, 5. We're good. I'm going to draw a line. Okay, the other option is to look at this graph, especially if it gives you a graph already or whatever. Pick one of the numbers that you can see that's easy, like -2. You can put -2 on the shelf and then do synthetic division. 1, 0, -7, 0, 12. This is great if you prefer synthetic division over factoring with an X puzzle, because I'm going to show you a really cool trick in a second. Okay, so -2, -2, 4, -3, 6, 6, -12. Beautiful. That's what I wanted. I wanted a 0 here. Okay, now that's for this -2 over here. But I also see +2 over here. So something I can do is I can actually take my synthetic division and just keep going with all of the numbers that I know work. So I'm going to multiply that 2, 0, 0, -3, -6, 0. Okay, I can't do it anymore. I know you think that I know that 0 is an answer, but I actually already took it out right here. This is where the 0 is, and so it's already not part of my equation anymore. I know, it's so sad. But +2 and -2 are both options that I have. And so this is, it was an x to the power of 4. Here, this is an x to the power of 3. And then down here, this is an x to the power of 2. So I get x squared minus 3 equals 0. Well, add 3, x squared equals 3, square root, x equals plus or minus the square root of 3. That's only 2 answers. Where are the rest? Well, the rest are right here, and remember I said that was 0 again? So those are my 5 answers. Your call. I don't care. Can you get imaginary numbers? Absolutely. If you got this same problem, but it was x squared plus 4 equals 0, what you would get is x equals plus and minus 2i. That's totally doable. That's an answer you'll get, actually. So just remember that that's an option, please. Okay. I'm going to give you some assignment. Here's what your assignment is. Don't get mad at me. I give you a whole chunk of questions, and I just ask you to pick 3 from the first chunk and 3 from the second chunk. The second chunk, the directions are a lot like this problem. It says to sketch the graph. Don't worry about it. Don't sketch the graph. We're going to get to sketching graphs soon, but not now. So just skip that sketching the graph part. Ignore it. Don't worry about it. It's okay. And then I also have to do number 40, which does give you a graph. So it kind of brings in this idea with synthetic division. Is that it? I think that's it. Let me know if you want any more examples. I have some extras here, but I ran out of space, which is fine. It's okay. But overall, move everything over so it equals 0. Use the factoring polynomial information you got last class. This stuff, it's too big right now, but you know what I'm talking about. Where you're like, okay. Use that. Use a graph. This is Desmos.com. It's not student.desmos.com like we usually do. It's just desmos.com/calculator. I can't write that anymore, but it's fine. Desmos.com/calculator, where you can go ahead and you can check these things. So hope that helps. Tell me if you need more. I got you. I am here for you. You boo you.